So here we go, part 2 of 1.3, subtracting integers. So last time we did counters so that we could see what happens when we add with our subtract integers. And so we could visually see it. And today we're just going to apply a rule because, again, using counters for numbers that are bigger than 10 is not helpful. It would take too much time. But we wanted to see what happens so that we can understand the rule a little bit better. So remember last time we did some adding of zero pairs, and you're going to see today where that adding part comes in. So our term for today is opposite of a number. And so that's the number on the other side of 0 and has the same distance from 0. So that can be positive or negative. So we can say the opposite of 5 is -5 because they're on either side of 0 and they both are 5 away from 0. But it works also the other way. The opposite of -8 is 8 because they are on either side of 0 and have the same distance of 8 away from 0. So opposite, either side of 0 and same distance from 0. So at the top of your note taker in the section guided notes, you can see it says subtracting integers by adding the opposite. So we're actually going to add, not subtract, and we're using opposites. So here's the steps. First, keep the first integer. So whatever the first integer is, you're not going to change it. Second, you're going to change your subtraction to addition. So all you're going to do is change the subtraction sign to a plus sign. And then step 3, you're going to change the integer after the now plus sign to its opposite. So if it's positive, it'll become negative, and if it's negative, it's going to become positive. And then the last thing is we learned addition rules in 1.1 and 1.2, and so you're just going to then use those rules. Okay, so your only rule for subtracting integers is to change it to add the opposite and then use your adding rules. Okay, so I'm going to go through each step for these examples so you can see. So it says first, for this first one, 8 take away 11, I'm going to keep the first integer. So I'm going to leave it as 8. Second step, change the subtraction to addition. So I'm just going to change that to a plus sign. And then the 11 is positive, so I'm going to change it to its opposite, -11. And now we have an addition problem with opposite signs. And that's lesson 1.2 with different signs. In 1.2, we subtracted and kept the sign of the larger absolute value. So we're going to go 11 minus 8, which is 3. And then -11 has the larger absolute value than 8. And so then our final answer would be -3. And we just subtracted integers. Okay, so that's when they're both positive. But when they're both negative, it doesn't matter. So that's why we don't have a second lesson for subtracting with different signs or subtracting with same sign. Because subtracting integers, no matter if they're the same sign or different signs, we still use these steps right here. Okay, so let's do the next one. -3, so keep that first one, -3. Change my subtraction to addition. And change my next number to a opposite. So -5, opposite is 5. And there we go. So now we're again going to apply lesson 1.2, adding integers with different signs. So we're going to subtract. 5 take away 3 is 2. Oh, my 2 got a little blurry. Now, which one has the bigger absolute value? Well, the absolute value of -3 is 3. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. So that's bigger. and it's positive, so my answer is 2. And there it is. Okay, last one. So keep the first number, 19. Change the subtraction to addition. Negative 19, step 3, changes to its opposite, so positive 19. Now this is just adding with same signs. This is lesson 1-1, adding with same integer signs. So we're just going to add these. 8 plus 8 is, or 9, sorry, 9 plus 9 is 18. And then 1, 2, 3. And because they're both positive, that's our answer, positive 38. Okay. So I think this would be a really good place to pause and try problems 4 through 7 on your own. Remember to do the steps, okay? Leave the first integer, change the subtraction to addition, and change the next number to its opposite. So pause here, try these 4 problems, and then once you finish with them, push play, and then you can see me work through them. Okay, so here we go. Number 4, I do negative 7, I leave it alone. Subtraction to addition, and positive 2 becomes negative 2. So now they're the same sign. And I can just apply lesson 1.1, which means I just add them. 7 plus 2 is 9. And keep their sign, negative. Negative 9. Okay, here's 5. So negative 1 stays the same. Subtraction becomes addition. Opposite of negative 3 would be positive 3. So this is adding with different signs. So we would subtract 3, take away 1, because those are their absolute values. Well, that's 2. And I keep the sign of the larger absolute value. Well, that's 3. So my answer stays positive. And 6. Okay, so again, step 1, keep the first integer the same. Change the subtraction to addition. And change the positive 5 to a negative 5. So lesson 1.2, we are going to subtract their absolute values. So 5 take away 3. That gets me 2. And since negative 5 has the larger absolute value, I'm going to keep its sign and make this answer negative 2. Okay, and that makes sense. I had more negatives than I had positives. And if you look at the original problem, 3 take away 5, I'm taking away more than I have. I only have 3. So if I try to take away 5, I'm going to be in debt somewhere. All right, last one, 7 is keep it, negative 8, change it to addition, and then negative 4 becomes positive 4. So again, lesson 1.2, we're going to subtract their absolute values. So 8 take away 4 is 4. And since negative 8 has the larger absolute value, we keep its sign and make it negative 4. Okay. So things to remember, right? Easy way to say it is to add the opposite. Do not forget to change it to addition and change it to its opposite. Add the opposite. Okay, and we only change the second number. We do not change the first one. All right, questions for class. Why are we adding if this is subtraction? Where does add the opposite come from? What is your question? What are you confused about? Okay, I want to see those questions so I can answer them next class. All right, see you then.